This episode of XNA Roundup is sponsored by GoDaddy.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the XNA Roundup Show.
What's up?
This is episode number 28, and today we've got a huge news story for you. Community games, now indie games.
Boom.
Plus we've got 4 game reviews coming up, which are awesome. Dude, what's with indie? Is that IE or Y?
It's IE, of course. Y is like the car race.
Dude, cars are indie.
Not so much.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm your host, Nick the Dude. Joining me today.
Carl Stradella from Evia.
All right, so today we got a big news story. The community game section is now called Indie Games.
Indie games.
Is that
pretty
cool?
cool. I think it makes it hipper.
It does. It kind of
More hip.
Okay.
Yeah.
The really big news coming out of this whole change is that I want to say community games. Indie games, they're going to be a lot cheaper.
That's good.
That's
Everybody likes
awesome,
that.
right? And I think bring a lot more people in, not so much commitment to maybe not as much money. So the old price points were 200, 400, and 800 Microsoft points, which is basically $2.50, $5, and $10.
Yeah.
So the new price points are 80, which is $1.
That's crazy.
Right. And then 240, which is $3, and 400, which is $5.
Dude, up to $5, I will spend that.
You'll spend
it's
it?
almost like the iTunes, model.
Yeah.
Where, like if it's $1 or if it's something small, if the price point is small enough, I just immediately buy it.
Yeah, this is something that I was hoping would happen. I think it's going to bring a lot more people in. And it's just $1 for a game, boom, done.
Now I was reading that the ones that are the buck have to be a certain file size.
Under
right?
50 megabytes.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that's okay.
pretty good, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think people can work within that to make real casual games. And another really cool thing that they announced with this is that the community games can be updated just like a regular arcade game where you boot up the game. It says, hey, there's an update available for this game. Do you want to do it?
That's awesome.
So, I mean, that gives a lot of power to developers to kind of take the feedback from the community and update it. There was no mechanism like that in place, and that's going to help a lot.
Which it sounds like the iPhone mechanism.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, why reinvent the wheel? It seems like iTunes
It's
has
working
it
really,
figured
really well
out,
for
yeah.
iPhone. Yeah.
Also, for us, it's really cool because they, again, like the iTunes Store, promo codes, what do you call it, token codes. So send those in. Send us 2 for your game if you're developing them. Yeah.
We'll talk about you on the show.
XNA Roundup at gmail.com. Send them right there.
Yep, and you'll see one of these today on the show.
Yes, we already
Promo
used
code?
one. We already used one.
I guess that
What else? 3.1 is the new XNA version that's coming with the new Xbox experience. That's on August 11th.
Oh, that's soon.
Yeah, it's August 11th. It's like a week, a little bit over a week from now. And the new XNA actually incorporates video, avatars, and party support, plus a couple other things.
Cool.
It's just basically more coolness.
Yeah.
So,
Avatars, so that you make an indie avatar game then? Is that what you're saying?
indie avatar, that sounds crazy. That's like James Cameron stuff or something.
Ching, ching, ching. I mean, I could use
Yeah,
avatars
you can use avatars. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's pretty sweet, huh?
Someone should use them for something. Besides
I know,
King of
they
Cufflinks, like nothing's happened.
There's not, yeah.
Which, by the way, is a great game.
So you wanted to go off on kind of a rant.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, this is a really cool thing for exposure for indie games, but also just in general, as we're like reviewing all these community games, it's just an awesome time that we live in where, and I should say the U.S. Timeline for releasing independent games is the broadest and the widest it's ever been.
Right.
I say that because in Japan, they've been doing this kind of thing for a while,
Right.
which we'll see some of the Japanese games today on the show. But they've been doing those kind of fan-made games over there for a while. Right?
Yeah, actually, I want to say one thing I didn't mention is that they're opening indie games up to more countries.
Right.
And we're starting to see some Japanese stuff come into
right
the
away,
U.S. catalog.
We're
Yeah.
reviewing some today.
We're actually reviewing one game from Japan. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited, and it's a big. Even if the game is like Joe Schmo's Move a Box game, which I think that might be out there.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of them.
I'm still just happy that people get to make their own games, and there's a platform for them for a very large audience now. Before it was like the PC is much tougher to break ground on. So.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's great. So
let's get into the games.
All right, so you came here for games, so let's get into it.
Yes.
Our first game we're going to talk about is Skwug, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly because I'm really not sure. Skwug?
Skwug.
Skwug-a-dug?
Skwug.
So this is a puzzle platformer. The main mechanic is where you have 3 warps, basically, where you can warp around like through laser beams, stuff like that, and it's a puzzle platformer. I thought it was a little bit like Splosion Man, which we talked about yesterday on your show, Press Pause. Because you get like you have 3 warps to kind of move, and then you have to recharge by landing on a ground, so you recharge your warps.
By the way, just side note, why does landing on the ground recharge him?
Oh, dude, land is power, dude.
Land is power. It's the Terra.
Yeah,
Terra power. But yeah, I mean, it reminded me. A lot of these games remind me of Braid, just because I love Braid, but also because it's like, how am I going to accomplish this feat?
Right.
Because each level is this very long, almost like traps set up everywhere for you to perish, and you have to use your warp ability to get through this huge kind of maze of lasers and fire and whatever it is. And you're like, I'm not going to be able to pull this off, and then you do, and it feels good. So
yeah, I was really impressed with the level design overall. Yeah. It was, I mean, and plus a couple added mechanics where you can actually recharge or give yourself an extra warp.
In the middle of the
if you hit, if you plan it out and hit this little power up right, you'll get either an extra warp so you can go a little bit farther, or you'll a full recharge of your warps. So that's very cool. I really like the level design is a thing in this game. It's really good. Go ahead.
The graphics need to be better.
Graphics are not great
for some reason. I know it's the beginner.
No,
I'm
I
not
know.
even saying that. It would have made the experience so much more rich,
Yeah, I wrote down that it kind of looks like if you've ever seen the Braid before they did all the art design on it.
Yeah.
It looks a little like that. So if you had a little art design to this, like
that's what I'm saying.
This is a cool concept to build on. I really like it a lot.
I am all about this game, and I'm really super happy that we have it now. Like, it's a full game. I'm playing it, and it is insanely addictive because you're like, I'll just do one more level.
Right.
I'll just do one more level. It was,
And you're like restarting because you screw up. It's like, oh no. And great. Actually, there's some really cool achievements too. I like the people.
I didn't go for those, but.
I mean, I go for them, but I looked at them and they popped up occasionally. Mostly because I died a lot. There's like a
but they have a little checkpoint system if you're uneasy, which I was.
Yeah, and
I like it.
If you like, puzzle platformers like Braid and Johnny Platform's Biscuit Romp, which is another indie game, check this one out. I think you'll definitely enjoy it.
Definitely. Skwug, I like it.
All right, so next up is actually the Japanese game we spoke of earlier. It's called Crescendo Symphony.
Very powerful.
What is with the Japanese games and these musical?
Awesome. I love the titles.
The titles are really good, I gotta admit.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, so it's basically a pretty standard shoot 'em up or shmup, where you're actually.
Someone says shmup? Really?
Shmup, yeah.
Can you do that?
Sure, shmup.
I'm out of the know. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shmup's a word.
Sorry.
So you basically play as a Japanese schoolgirl who shoots like insane amounts of bullets.
Insane amounts of laser bullets.
And you fight other schoolgirls?
No, there's just a couple that show up, I think.
No, if you look, I think if you look at them closely, they're actually really small. But whatever.
That's a lot of those games.
Yeah. So, what do you think?
It's fun. I mean, the graphics are good. It feels like an arcade game, like a coin op style. I could not get past the first board and feel like a dork because I couldn't. I was just like, it's just a simple. I must have moved the wrong way. I'll just do it again. Oh, I'll just do it again. Oh, I'll just do it again.
I know.
Did you beat it?
No.
See?
It was so hard. No, you know what I'm afraid of? And that, I feel bad because I don't know, because I'm afraid the whole game is just that one board, maybe?
Oh, please don't say that.
I hope it's not, but it's possible.
There was a boss.
I mean, there was bigger enemies.
Or people, or...
I mean, one thing that was annoying, too, was that your avatar was so big. It's like this schoolgirl. Usually you're in, like, this tiny spaceship, but you're like...
I like that, actually.
It's cool, but Jesus, it's tough.
And this is going to kill me. We'll maybe do a lower through later, but...
All right.
What's that? There was a game where you were a bunch of little different anime women, and they all had different powers.
I think that might have been a dream you had at one point.
It might have, but also. Anyways, there's a game that's similar to this, and hopefully you'll go find it and put it in the show notes or something. But it reminded me of that game, and I like that game a lot.
Yeah.
Because I like the idea of the shooter, the actual thing that you're using, shooting
your avatar,
isn't just the spaceship, because spaceships is so...
Yeah, I'm not saying,
so that part of it.
I just was upset that it was so big. I mean, a shmup, you're trying to dodge bullets and stuff like that, and you got this huge avatar.
And some of those barrages were
it's just impossible.
It was like 8,000 bullets coming this way.
But I noticed the hit detection wasn't sometimes it wasn't as accurate as I thought, because sometimes I go right through and I was like, I couldn't tell which parts of her body were like vulnerable, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But I tell you what, the bullets, super satisfying, like her shots.
Yeah, her shots.
And that, dude, the power-up was insane. You probably saw it in the background here, but the power-up is insane.
You're
And
just
well, it's like a
loading
special. It's a
bullets.
special attack, not power.
yeah.
But
you only have 3 of them.
I know I wanted so many more. I want to just nail that button like constantly. But there was no power-ups either.
Nope, there's nothing to
Kind
pick
of
up.
bummer
which is
about
kinda
that.
a bummer, yeah.
Unless it's in the full one.
Dude, and again, this is indie, fan-made, probably. It's maybe a very beginner stage of it. I don't know. We'll see more.
I wonder if that's more of a Japanese thing because like Ikaruga, you ever play that?
Yes.
There's no power-ups though. It's more
That's
like
true too. Yeah,
I don't
they're all
know if
about
it's-
hardcore, dude. I'm telling you.
You're
And
kidding,
that's
man.
probably what it is. But
All right.
A though, I'm gonna say not like there's A and B.
Right.
I'm gonna say that I'm really jazzed to see the Japanese game here. So I don't even.
Me
care
too.
what it
Yeah,
is.
me too.
Super excited.
I think I think it's a great start. I think if the dev were to add some like role playing elements, some power ups, maybe this would be. I would like
Yeah, power-ups would
all
be cool.
over this game. All right, so we're gonna
Break?
take
Break
we're gonna
time?
take let's take a break, and we will be right back.
I'm famished.
He's famished. We'll be back.